Beloved in the Seventh Adventist Church, beloved in the Seventh Adventist Church, this is a very urgent message, very urgent message about true education, very urgent message about true education. This is taken from Isaiah chapter 30, verse 1. Woe to the rebellious children, saith the Lord, that take counsel, but not of me, and cover with the covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin. They walk to go down to Egypt, and have not asked at my mouth, to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh, and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. Therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt your confusion. For the princes were of Zoan, and his ambassadors came to Hanes. They were all ashamed of a people that could not profit them, nor be of help nor profit, but a shame and also a reproach. The burden of the beasts of the south unto land of trouble and anguish, from whence come the young and old lion and viper and fiery flying serpent. They will carry their riches upon the shoulders of young asses, and their treasures upon the bunches of camels, to a people that shall not profit them. Now, beloved, from the Seventh Adventist Church, the beasts of the South symbolize the king of the South. The king of the South symbolizes Egypt. Egypt symbolizes, according to Revelation chapter 11, atheism and secularism. Pharaoh and France. King of France was the leader of France back in his day. Beloved in the Seventh Adventist Church, false education in these last days. Ellen White talks about this in Testimony in Church 5 and 6. New Educational Forum, she says, those who so talk of the higher education, talk of the so-called higher education, they receive these theories in these last days, will be ensnared in these last days because they got the false higher education. The so-called false higher education, beloved. So, beloved in the Adventist Church, the false education is Egypt, secularism, and atheism. It's a king of the South, beloved. Now, also, we see another parallel of this from the King Amaziah in the book of Kings, one to fight against the heathen nation. He hired 300,000 men of war to fight with him, beloved, against this heathen nation. But he paid the northern tribe of Israel 100,000 talents of silver to fight with him against this heathen nation. So he paid them $100,000 of silver. And a prophet came to him and said, the Lord is not with Israel because they have their golden calves. Beloved, the false education of much of our schools are golden calves of higher education, historical criticism, historical cultural grammatical perspectives. Not interpreting the Bible the way it reads, not proof texting it, but we're making historical grammatical perspectives out of it, not according to Holy Scriptures, beloved. So, when we decide to yoke up with these men, we're like paying the northern tribe of Israel, which the professed people have got 100,000 pieces of silver to win our battles. We need to separate from these false brethren, beloved, in the Adventist Church that teach a new theology, no victory over sin, once saved, always saved. Jesus Christ is not the most holy place. Spiritual reformation, which is pantheism. Woman's ordination. We need to separate from these men and not confederate with the people of God to fight our aims and be in spiritual leadership. We need to separate and go into reform school like Heartland, UG Pines, Wildwood, Weimar, Amazing Facts, and do self-supported ministries like publishing ministry and Bible work ministry, medical missionary work, and work as lay workers in churches that are preaching present truth like State Line Seventh Adventist Church. And do not go amongst the churches where they're playing wild music, beloved. That is the truth for these last days. Do not confederate with the professed people of God that are worshiping the golden calves, beloved. Do not go down to seek atheism and secularism in your schooling to get false education, because you're led into you become educated worldlings. Sister White says in Fundamentals of Christian Education. You are led further and further away from God, and you will receive the mark of the beast. He says in Testimony Church 5 and 6, the new educational form, beloved. We need to stand firm in these last days and not be given to worldliness in these last days, beloved. Maranatha, God bless.